Hi everyone, my name is Mary Feaster and this is my introduction video. I apologize that my voice is a little scratchy. We just started our first 2 days of school this week, so my voice is on its way out. So I am a kindergarten teacher, which means I talk a lot. I teach in the Central Dauphin School District and I travel between two different buildings. We have half-day kindergarten, so I teach AM at one building and PM at another. I have students with IEPs for speech. I have students with 504 plans for behaviors, and I have several students that are English learners in my classroom. So some of my hobbies, I'm an assistant coach for my high school cheerleading team. I was a cheerleader for about 12 years. I cheered from about second grade through 12th grade, and then I did not cheer in college. I also love to kayak. I like to hike. I love movies, any kind of movie. I love all different sorts of genres, and I love to read books when I find the time. Online experience. So I actually took a bunch of online classes in college. I did my undergraduate at Penn State, and I actually spent my last semester at home. So I did an entire semester of online classes. And so far in my master's program, I've done 3 classes online, and this is my fourth. Overall, I've had a really positive experience with it. I enjoy the online setting. I'm not sure how I feel about actually being on the other end of it and teaching an online class, but I've liked being on the learner, the student end of it so far. So the quote about, good teaching is good teaching. I do agree with that because I do feel like it makes sense, if you have a positive impact, like if you're going to be a good teacher, you're obviously creating a positive impact. You're going to affect students' progress. You're going to get them where you want them to be. If you're a good teacher, hopefully, then, you're going to make a difference in their overall outcome, in their learning, their future, all of those kinds of things. But I feel like good teaching is not always the case either, because just even from personal experience, there are certain things that you can't help. I mean, difficult situations, unforeseen circumstances, students with behavior issues. Again, I work with several students that don't speak English. I work with parents that don't speak English, students that have, severe behaviors or need support. The one building I work at is a Title I school, so we have a lot of students that, don't have the same materials or opportunities that other students have. So you can be a great teacher, but there are some things that being a great teacher still isn't going to fix, which is unfortunate, but, that is the case at times. So online challenges, it talked about, what are some of the things that you want to learn more about? For me, it was the time management. Everybody kept talking about the time and the amount of time that it takes to be an online teacher, which I guess I never really thought about because I feel like it already takes a lot of time to be a face-to-face teacher. So I can't imagine it being more time consuming than it is for me right now being a face-to-face teacher. So I guess my biggest thing that I want to learn is how do they do it? Like, what are their tips? What are their tricks? How do they manage their time wisely and effectively? Especially since it sounds like they are constantly adapting and changing and making their plans more flexible and incorporating new things. That's definitely something I want to learn more about. So my hope for online teaching, it talked about, the teacher within, which is definitely the experience that I had. I knew I wanted to be a teacher ever since I was in third grade. I had the best third grade teacher, and ever since then, that was what I wanted to be. I always wanted to be a teacher. So I definitely can relate to the feeling of the teacher within. I used to joke when I was in high school or when I was in college that I would always rather hang out, or go talk to the little kids, play with the little kids, than people my own age sometimes, because I just love how, excited they are about everything and how they want to learn everything, and they're just so pure. So my hopes for online teaching is that, I'd love to learn different things that I can do online to help my students, opportunities maybe I could provide for them and their parents to use at home. Honestly, I'm just hoping to learn more about it in general because, again, like I said, I haven't had experience on that side of things. And I hope to share with my students, regardless of whether I'm face to face or if it would be through an online setting, I hope to share my enthusiasm because I think that's definitely a strong suit of mine, which is similar to my passion. I'm passionate about kids. I'm passionate about working with kids and helping them be the best they can be, which is, what I want for them. And I also hope that I can share my determination. Things obviously aren't always going to go our way and we have to work through things. And I hope that I can share with them, how we push through, how we, can turn a mistake into a positive and how we can push through and persevere. So the commercials were funny because I have seen two of them. I had never seen the Carpe Diem commercial, but I had seen the other two. Um, and it was definitely different looking at it through this kind of lens. Normally you just watch a commercial and you don't really think twice about it. But this time I was looking at it, through the standards. And the biggest thing that all three of them talked about was the differentiated instruction and how they're constantly making plans for the individual child, not the group as a whole. They're constantly adapting and changing, and parents are collaborating with teachers to create what's best for their child, where they want their child to go, which fits several of the standards. The second thing that I noticed was the collaboration aspect, how they, kept making sure that you understood that there is still a social aspect to this, and they're not just, sitting on a computer all day and not interacting with people. They are interacting with their peers and their teacher, and they are getting that collaboration, that social contact with others. The one thing I did notice that kind of surprised me was that there wasn't a whole lot of talk about like the teacher qualifications. They obviously talked about the fact that it's a certified teacher, but they did not discuss, what the teacher must go through professional development wise, like they did in the first video we watched. That actually was the teachers talking about their personal experience. So that was one thing that I noticed was not in any of the videos. And the videos didn't mention really much about assessments. Obviously, they talked about continuing to grow and change and, adapt, but they didn't really talk about the assessments that they used to do that. So those were the two things that stuck out to me. So that's the end. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to learn more about online teaching.